welcome to yet another episode of Woman by Design podcast. I am so thrilled and so happy that you have taken your time to come and join us. If you're new, karibu sana. This is where we strive to create the woman that God desires us to be. And we've been doing a couple of conversations in our previous, the last 3 episodes that we were having, and we were talking about singlehood. How do we answer that question, especially watu wakikuuliza tunakuja kula pilau lini, and I hope you had a blast. Of course, I know you had a blast. So today we delve in a totally different conversation. Women in entrepreneurship. Yeah, it's entrepreneurship, not entrepreneurship. Yeah, you know that Proverbs 31 woman who has sheep and merchants and I don't know where. Today we are delving into that conversation, and I have a lovely guest with me. She's gonna do, I think I can't do justice enough when I introduce her. So she's going to introduce herself, tell us who she is, and then we need to get into the topic. And as always, I am your host, Eda Zia. Hi, Gloria.
Hi, Eda.
It's good to have you on the show.
It's good to be here.
Karibu.
I have been watching your episodes and I'm like, I need to be on that podcast, and
Yeah,
here I am. So this is like an answered prayer. So I'm really grateful to be here. So like Eda said, my name is Gloria Mwadzi. I am a business owner. You said it's entrepreneurship, yeah. I am an entrepreneur. I own a small business called Zero Designs. It's a fashion design business. So we basically deal with clothing, jewelry, bags, and everything fashion. So that's a little bit of my story. And I know as we get into the episodes, we'll know more about the Proverbs 31 woman. I hope I am that. Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, clearly you can see that she just looks like what she has just said. You can see her earpieces, her dresses. She has made them herself. And we always joke about her, the pretty face that she has. So Gloria, you have mentioned that you have a small business, which I actually don't think it's a small business. Gloria is the owner of Ziria Designs, right?
Yeah.
So when did Ziria Designs begin, and how was the beginning?
Zero Designs. Zero Designs started last year officially. I started last year in September, but it has been something that has been on the works for many years. I think it's just the confidence of plunging into business that I had lacked. And finally, I felt like it's time. Why not, And God has got my back. So I plunged into business September last year. And right now we are 1 year down the line. And it's been a good experience so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you really recall the many years back when it was working behind the scenes before officially launching it?
Yeah. I think I wanted to get into business straight from campus. I was like, I don't want to get employed, I know all the tricks, I know all the skills. I was like, I want to get into business right away. But then I think it wasn't time yet. I had to go and learn, because business it's hard. Let me just put it out there. It's hard. It's not. It's not something you just pick and run with it. You need proper planning. You need to be diligent in your ways. So I think I wanted to start 4 years back, but I think that was when the onset of COVID came, and then I was like, by the way, still see must. We just get into employment and see how that goes. Maybe I'll start saving up and eventually get into business, and that's what happened. So here we are. Yeah.
Okay. So you actually had to go and learn.
Yeah. I had to. I did my attachment at an organization called Bombululu Workshop. It's here in Mombasa, and I was like, I loved what they do, because they do whatever I love doing. They deal with fashion and design, and I was like, let me stick to this. Let me see how business is managed, how to deal with clients, how to operate the business itself. And I think that was the exposure I needed to actually get into my own business, because if I had done it before that, maybe I would have failed. I don't know. Maybe I would have failed, but I needed that experience and exposure.
What course did you do in campus?
I did fashion design and marketing. Yeah. And I haven't graduated yet.
Okay.
We are waiting to do my final exams and then hopefully graduate next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for you, it actually started, you knew even before you go to campus that you interested in the field of fashion? And so what's the place, because you have mentioned that you went for training, what's the place of passions and giftings and all before you actually went to school? Were you in a position to do those things like making the earpieces and all?
In honest truth, I thought I would be a chef. In honest truth, I enjoyed cooking. So I did home science. So I did home science in high school because of the cooking aspect. But you know, home science comes with also the fashion bit.
Watu wa home science mkishatoka
tunawarengea, lazima tuwarengea.
Tunachotea chakula kidogo kidogo. And make the whole school smell nice.
Yeah. So in my head, I really knew I wanted to be a chef. I wanted to get into hospitality. But then I think when I finished high school, I didn't know. Now I was in a place where I was stuck. I don't know if I want to go in the food direction, and if not food, what else would I be doing? So when our results got back, when we got our KCSE results, I had done well, but I had failed maths. And for most courses, you have to pass mathematics. So as I was going through like universities and what to do, I saw there was fashion design being offered in KU. So I was like, let me check the requirements. There was no mathematics required. I was like, yay! I was like, yay. This is what I want to do. And the requirement was you had to pass home science, which I had passed, and you had to pass your languages and your sciences, which I had done very well. So I was like, yeah, this is what I'll do. If somewhere down the line it doesn't work out, I still have the skill anyway. So I did love fashion, but not from an aspect where I wanted to do it or venture into it, because my head was fixed on cooking. But then the turnaround came and I fell in love with fashion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about, because I know Ziria Designs has been on the runway.
Yeah.
So how was the journey to getting to that point? Like you can actually be known and get to the runway.
All right. I think the exposure, like I said, the exposure that I got from where I worked at Bombol Workshop. So we used to do runways also there. So that's why I did my first runways, and I loved the runway. I loved the buzz. I loved the camera, lights, and actions. Yeah. And I was like, this is something I would want to do. I would want to do this. And I was like, for my brand, once I start and pick it up, I would want to get into runways. I was like, why not? Yeah. So that's why I kind of got that exposure from runways from where I used to work. Yeah.
Great. Interesting. Bado nimekwama hapo kwa wasichana warembo na hesabu. Humanities and languages, sciences and mathematics.
Surprisingly, I was good at science. Surprisingly, science, I was very good at science, and I enjoyed sciences. Mathematics, I don't know what happened.
For some reason, maths just
decided to go out the window. So, yeah.
Now, Gloria is a pastor. For your information,
yeah,
and a pastor now in the field of entrepreneurship, and especially in the field of fashion and design. Out here kuna vile tunajua fashion and design. What are your thoughts about that? Like being a ministry worker and you're in such a field that we have, how would I put it? A field and we think it's so secularized for a believer actually to penetrate and have a breakthrough in such a field. Yeah,
I think one of the things that the world has done to fashion is make it into something that, like you said, secularized. But when we did the basic needs in school, clothing was one of them. And the fashion business is all about clothing, adorning yourself. So it is a basic need. I kid you not, you have
actually saying it's about adorning yourself.
Yes.
Because out here, we see it like it's like putting yourself naked.
Yeah.
So vice versa.
So you have to adorn yourself in everything. Like you can't step out of the house naked. So when I started my fashion design, I didn't think I would even get into ministry one day. 3 years back, you told me I'd be a pastor today. That is something I would have laughed at you. I was like, me. So getting into it, like I said, I really wanted, when I got the exposure from where I used to work and dealing with people in the industry, the fashion industry has been secularized so much. And like I did runways, and you can see how people are being exploited on runways. People are being exploited as workers. And I was like, when I do get into business, I do not want this to be something that I will do. I actually do want to be able to adorn people, and why not adorn people in godliness by speaking the word and also dressing them, why not mix it to the both of them together? And that is what I enjoy doing. Yeah.
So actually for you, ministry in this field comes out in just ensuring that someone looks beautiful in whatever they're dressed on, and classy.
And classy. Like you can look good, you can look good, you can still look nice and still be in ministry. We don't have to fall into the cliche that people in ministry have to dress a certain way. You can still express yourself through fashion and still do ministry. Like you said, I wear my brand everywhere I go, and it looks nice, and I want people to look nice and feel comfortable in their skin, not just by me preaching the word or serving them, but also doing that even on their outward appearances. Yeah, so I would love to build on the outward appearances and also on the spiritual appearances. Yeah, so that's my goal.
Nice. Lovely. So what are some of, because you're saying that the fashion space is one of the spaces where people are actually, you have witnessed people being exploited even on the runways. So for yourself as an entrepreneur, what are some of the challenges that you have actually faced in that particular space? Maybe to just begin with the bit of you as a woman before we actually go to the bit of you as a Christian.
For me as a woman, I think also fashion has been labeled as a woman's thing. Men don't think
men nowadays,
of course men are entering into that space and they're dominating very well.
Dominating the space.
Yeah, so for being a woman and leading a business, it's something that people look at you. And then the fact that you're in ministry, a whole pastor, having a whole business, it's something that people just look at you and you're like, what are you doing? You should stick to your lane. Stick to ministry, Preach the word. We don't need you in this space of fashion and design. And having to want to do good practices in business, people want the shortcut. They want to get the money fast. We want to sell and exploit people. But when you don't fall into that cliche, it becomes really hard on you.
In terms of
prices. For me, I have had people comment on why my products are so cheap. Why are they so affordable? And I'm like, why would I exaggerate the price? Just to get the money at the end. It's not about the money at the end of the day. Of course I need money.
Yes.
Of course I need to look good myself. I need money, but at the end of the day, I want to do it as a ministry. It's not about me, it's about God. He's the one who gave me this gift. I did not give it to myself. And that is something that I have had to struggle with, because those who do exploiting, and they do very well. You find them growing fast, they are making money, they are making sales, they go all the way out into doing unhealthy practices, exploiting your workers. That I've found that very, very much being done in the fashion industry. Like, people get really paid so little to do the work that they do, and that is something I told myself I do not want to do. I want my business to actually glorify God. I want my business to actually, when people see my business and talk about my business, they talk about the good things that come from the fashion industry and not the bad things. And so those are some of the challenges I've faced. Competition, you are competing with the secular world out here. And
how is that?
I kid you not. You are competing with the secular world, and for them, they do not care. It's about money.
They can go to any extreme.
They can go to any extremes. They do not care. I have worked with models who are underage, and you're like, what are you doing on the runway at 16 years old?
16?
Yes.
Okay.
You're supposed to be home with your parents. So what are you doing on the runway?
Oh, you're not actually allowed.
You're not allowed.
So what about
the
the ones
best
who reach in high
modeling
school?
the best modeling age for you to be actually on a high fashion runway is 19. But then you find people who are 16, they're underage, they're out there at night, there's no parent to guide them, you don't know what is
And of course,
going
they are
on.
being exploited by
Yeah, they're
people
being
who have
exploited and
hired
being
them.
exposed to stuff they're not supposed to be at that age. So for me, I felt like that was really, really bad, and I did not want to do those practices. When it comes to evading tax, you have to give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. Either way, you cannot evade that. So I always make the due diligence, pay my tax on time, do fair practices in business. So that's been my goal for my business. Yeah.
So the greatest challenge for you so far has been competition, especially with brothers and sisters
from the secular
from
world.
the other side,
Yeah.
and the extent to which they go. Now that is on the bit of you being a woman. Or I think, okay, what about when you go to the bit of being a Christian in that particular space?
Okay. I'm actually proud to be a Christian at this moment in this space, because the support from the Christian family has been so great, because I feel like for the longest time as Christians we haven't found people to support, in such an angle, because we always, like here in Mombasa, you always end up in Markiti. Those are places which are not, they're not Christian based. You always end up in buying stuff from people who don't even believe in God, because that is what is available for us. So for me, starting a business that is Christian based, good faith-based practices, and having people come into it, I feel like that's a good thing, and I'm proud of that space in the moment, because now I get to connect to my Christian peers. They feel like they have a brand they can connect to. Yeah,
I'm actually glad to hear that Christians are supporting their fellow Christians, because I feel sometimes as believers, that's where we actually miss the point, that a brother or a sister somewhere, or your fellow woman somewhere who does something, yet you consider not going to to seek the service from them, but just go out to someone else who we don't even know. Although I know a bit of this has been contributed to by the fact that sometimes we take cut short or even deliver substandard products in the name of being believers. Fire breathing.
That is also a challenge. That is a good challenge you have brought
Tell us about it, being the fire breathing Christian and delivering substandard products. How was it for you?
Yeah, I think that's what people expect. That is the first thing people expect from you. You're going to be bringing us, the shoddy works. It's not going to be quality. So people will say, I would rather go to Markiti. I'd rather go to this person because they get quality. So one thing that has been a challenge for me is getting people quality stuff, because my target is to have quality based stuff but still affordable for people. Yeah.
So because now you're after quality to satisfy the market and your clients, to what extent do you what are some of these challenges that maybe you encounter when you're going to that extra step to get a better quality than what they can find maybe in Marikiti or somewhere else?
I think the challenge is finances. Of course, for you to deliver something quality, you have to put in the money. You can't just go and buy the cheapest. So what I usually do is do my research. I have sampled various suppliers for my products, and I usually go for the ones who give me the best of the quality, what is in the market. I would rather pay that extra. And then, since I do everything myself, like I make everything with my hands, it cuts the costs. So when I make them by hand, it cuts the cost. So for me, I make sure I get the best suppliers. I make sure that I go for the best in the market. I cannot compromise. That is something I will never compromise. So whatever you get from me is the best or in the market. Yeah.
Lovely. I am loving that particular the particular conversation bit that we have had on the conversation, and I love that Gloria actually emphasizes that what you can get from her is the best. The best from the market, and I think I have seen her products. I have stayed with her, and what she's actually wearing right now, like I have seen the earpieces and the dresses, they are still her products, and these are really gifted hands. Like, the gifted hands. She just makes everything with her hands. And maybe to just reach out to you, our fellow women out there who are in business, it doesn't matter the type of business that you're doing, whichever space that you are in. how faithful are you in the work that you're doing, and how competent, because something has come out. I have felt a little bit saddened when the conversation has come out that people, because you're a believer, people expect you to deliver shoddy
Yeah.
work. It's as if our Lord Jesus Christ, had had set such an example, which is actually not the case.
Yeah.
So the question to you is, what kind of services are you delivering to your clients as a believer? What kind of products are you delivering to the people in your space, or the people you're reaching out to as a believer? Are they able to speak on your behalf, and people associate with them and say, but this so and so is different because of the kind of things that they are doing? And with that, I want us to bring this episode to a close. And then we'll be able to meet on the next episode as Gloria continues to share on stereotypes that are in the field, and also continues to build up on her personal story and how the journey has been, as she even gets to advise maybe young people in the field who are just beginning. How do you start and how do you continue? I look forward to being with you in the next episode, and until next time, cheerio.